Okay, boys and girls, so I've gone ahead and I've stuffed the body the way that I wanted. And as you saw in that last video, I know my stitching looks terrible, but that was because I was just trying to rush and get it done for you. So anyway, hopefully yours looks a lot better than this because you've been using the right color stitching. Like I said, once again, mine is black so that you can see the stitching of it. So that's why mine looks a little bit like Frankenstein. So anyway, what I've gone ahead and done is I told you in the last video that you had to sort of sit this somewhere and then you had to figure out where you wanted the leg to go. So of course you want the teddy bear to sit. All right, so I kind of ignore, say the button isn't there. What I did was I sat it down and I put the leg down like that. And I thought, okay, so I think if it sits like that, it should be okay. So that's where I'm going to put my button. Now, the other thing you've got to figure out with your buttons is if you've got a selection of buttons, okay, you've got to find a button that you know is going to be about the same size and it's going to go through there easily because you're going to have to put a hole in here, okay? So what I've done is I've already put a hole in this one, okay, and I made sure that a button that I have here will go through, okay? So that's what you've got to really do. So what I did was I attached my button on here, and then all I do is I just pop my leg through the button and there is my leg, okay? So what I've got to do now is I've got to do that on the other side. So I thought I might as well show you how to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the leg off because I want to show you how to do that. All right, so I've got to find my button again that was the same size. So you want to do the same size button. Doesn't matter if it's the same color. It's not really that necessary. And so to make sure they're the same, it's going to go on there, okay, around about that spot there for me. All right, now what you're going to do is you're going to get your needle and thread and you're going to start down here because once again it's going to be hidden away. So I'm going to go through and I'm just going to come up underneath. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I lock it in there, which it is locked in there already, and I might just go through one more time just to be safe. Okay, and maybe what I'll even do is I will tie that off. So I'll run my needle through that and I'll tie that off there. Once again, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be hidden. Okay, then what I can do is I can put my needle through one of the buttonholes. Okay, it's probably a good idea to get rid of the other spare buttons out of your way. Okay, and then once again, I'm just going to start going through that button. And once again, you don't have to hold it still, or sorry, very close, because you can pull it in close later on. So like that, for example, I've now got that pulling in close. And once again, you can do another one in there. The good thing is if you do sort of stuff up in any way, you could always dress your teddy as well, and so that is going to hide some of your little imperfections. So my one will look like Frankenstein, but I think it's because mine is designed to look like Frankenstein. It is the example model, same as my other one sitting there, missing its arms and legs. So once again, I'm just going through and I'm just stitching. I'm just going through. Don't have to pull it tight. Like I said, I'll wait until I pull the cotton through and then I can pull it tight. Okay, and then I'm just, once again, just going through, trying to make sure that it is not gonna come off. Okay, so once again, when the leg's on, it's gonna be hiding most of this, so you don't have to worry that much. And I'm just gonna go through there and I might just take it through there as well. And you probably, once you've done about 10 passes, I'd say that that's probably enough. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish it off there. Okay, now what I can do is while the string is already there, I can just go around and make a little knot myself and tie that off. If not, just cut your string and tie off a knot. So I can go ahead now and I can cut that off, and well, once again I'll show you how to tie it off. So if I cut that, okay, and then I'm gonna separate my two strings, because remember from the first video I told you how I wanted you to put the cotton through the needle. So once again, I'm just gonna make a knot, okay, and I can do another one just for safe measure and make sure that it's not gonna come apart. All right, so once I've got that sorted, I can just go back and I can cut that off, okay? And then I've got my 2 buttons. All right, now, the other part that I've got to do. So the next part I've got to do is, of course, I've got to make that hole. So the easiest thing to do when you're trying to make that hole, once again, pick the right one first. You're going to either use your sharp scissors, that's probably one of the easiest things, or, once again, because I said I do modeling, not, body modeling, I mean modeling for stuff like this, I've got a little scalpel here. So you may actually have a little scalpel, okay? And then all you're going to do is with the scalpel, you're going to just make a little hole in there. And once again, be very, very careful of your fingers, okay? And you just have to cut that out a bit so that it's going to be able to fit the button in. You've got your pair of scissors. If you've got a sharp little pair of fabric scissors, okay, that will probably do the same thing as well, okay? But you've got to remember, you're going through 2 lots of felt. So, and don't go too far, okay? I've also got a pair of little medical scissors here, okay? And they once again go through most things. And so I know that I can just go through and chop some of that and that will go through. So I've got a hole, okay? And then I'm gonna see if I've given enough space on there. And look at that. My leg fits. That's always a bonus when your leg fits. And I put my other leg on, okay? And there we go. You've got your headless teddy, all right? So headless teddy is sitting really well. Now what you've got to do is you've got to do the exact same thing for the arms. So figure out where you want the arms, and then it's up to you to do a button. Now I'd suggest using a smaller button than you used on the legs because the arm space is smaller once again. So maybe, even that, it's not too small, but I'll have a look at this and I think, okay, so what have I got left over? I've got a few spares here. So that one's almost the same size. So maybe something like this one, it's just a little bit smaller and I could put that up there somewhere. So that's where I'm going to leave it in this video. So you are now going to attach your buttons for your arms and do the exact same thing. And then in our next video, I'll come back, you'll check out the jaws looks like this or something similar. And then what you're going to do is then you're going to start sewing the head. All right. So what we might want to do is we might want to put eyes in there first before we sew it all together, and maybe a bit of a mouth. And we've also got to make sure that if you look at the other one here, you got to put the muzzle on and the nose and the ears. All right. So we're going to do all of that before we put the stuffing in the head. So the head is a little bit tricky, but I think, you know what, if you can get to this point and you've got all your legs attached and your arms attached, you are fine. Once again, if you are not doing the button idea, okay, the easiest way for me to show you without doing another video on it is just pretend that's like that. That is your arm. You would be trying to stitch it to there. The leg would be the exact same. So it doesn't matter if you've got the club foot, so the club foot version. Once again, if I was to show you, I just do that, fold that over, and you're going to try and stitch that to there. If you do all your stitching underneath, you're not going to see it, all right? So I'll leave it there, and I will get the next video happening as soon as possible, and then hopefully you'll have your arms, you'll have your legs, you'll have a headless teddy, and then we'll start working on the head. Alrighty, catch you next time. Bye.